Welcome back to your weekly ag update from Bloomgren Seed in Boone, Iowa. Today is Tuesday, July 18th. We're going to do a quick weather update. 1,581 accumulated GDUs in this field. That's trending still ahead, about 50 ahead of where we should be for an average. Obviously, the week ahead looks to be very hot. We're going to see probably some rapid accumulation of heat. That is important to understand, because as we accumulate heat more rapidly than we want to, we shorten the windows that these plants have to go through their physiological processes. The same time that's happening, we're continuing to trend short on rain. So again, for this field, 14.5 inches would be about average. We're at about 8.5. So as should be expected, we're starting to ask the question, what happens if we continue to miss the rain? Right now, the 2-week forecast, we don't have a very significant chance of rain, and we have a lot of high heat. So what's going on in the fields? We're observing pollination getting very close to being wrapped up in a lot of these fields. There's a wide window, especially in Boone and surrounding counties, of planting dates, but a lot of pollination is finishing up. And we're observing two things. One is the high humidity at night is actually providing us a lot of moisture inside of the husk. And that's really good, because these silk hairs are made mostly out of water. 95% of the silk hair is water, and that humidity is allowing those silk hairs not to dry out. We've seen in previous years where those silk hairs can actually get so hot and dried out that they'll detach prematurely and will have poor pollination. We are not observing that. So as we strip back these husks and we evaluate these ears, we've got really healthy pollination. There's a couple misses on this plant, but nothing significant. And as we evaluate this year, there's certainly the potential for above 200 bushel corn. So the question that we've repeatedly have asked us, okay, so what happens if we miss the rain? Well, this plant only has one job now. It's pollinated, it has an ear. Its goal is to fill these kernels with dry matter. It has to get that dry matter from somewhere, so the question is, where does it come from? In the absence of moisture and nutrient in the soil, it has no other option than to start to pull from its material, and it will pull mostly specifically out of its stalk. So as we're out scouting right now, what we're trying to pay a lot of attention to is, what is the overall health of my stalk quality? I would encourage people to look at two things. Look at your root development. And when I'm worried about root development, these roots are massive right now. If we did a root dig, I'm guessing we have 3 to 5 feet on most of these plants. Short of using a backhoe, you probably wouldn't be able to get the total root structure. But what I'm especially interested in is the nodal or brace root development. What is going to hold that plant up if the stalk starts to weaken over the next few weeks, and specifically as we get close to harvest? So as I'm evaluating what fields do I want to go to first, certainly maturity plays into that, dry down plays into that. But most specifically, I want to ask myself, given a compromised stalk, am I going to have the stability to allow it to dry, knowing that I'm going to pull dry matter out of that stalk? The other thing that I would be conscious of is population. We know that the higher we increase our populations, the thinner we have, typically the thinner stalk development we have. So I'd pay good attention to that as well. It's going to be important this year, I think, if the environment doesn't change, that we really evaluate our harvest plan, and that we have a harvest plan. Don't go into this fall thinking I'm going to harvest my early maturity first and my late maturity at the end. Really pay attention to the development of those characteristics that we're talking about. We're out scouting. The guys are out scouting right now. If you have concerns about fields, or if you want us to help you come up with a harvest plan, please get a hold of us. I'm really encouraged. There's still a ton of potential out here. We're in a less than ideal situation, but when I evaluate this year, this plant to date has done exactly what we want it to do. Now it's a question of, can we spur this thing along, and can we finish in a way that we have a nice harvestable yield in the next 6 weeks. So that's your weekly ag update from Bloomgren Seed in Boone, Iowa. Thank you.